Dear brothers and sisters in drama, Suki Hoto, welcome to the second class of Sutta discussion by Bhante, Dr. Gangodawila Chandima, with the topic Maṅgala Sutta, the discourse of blessing. I am Aliana, and on behalf of Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang, will be the moderator for tonight's Sutta discussion. With the blessing from our Chief Reverend Datuk K. Sri Dhammaratana, Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana honorably to conduct this Sutta discussion via Zoom meeting linked to our Facebook page and YouTube account. Bhante Dr. Chandima is the Senior Advisor of Sutta Canada. Sutta is a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner and expert students in learning the Dharma in a variety of ways. You can check on Sutta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Sutta most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on regular basis. In 2015, Bhante Dr. Chandima earned a PhD in Buddhist studies from a University of Sri Jayewardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2016, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain in the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana honorably would like to present Bhante Dr. Chandima. Welcome, Bhante, and thank you very much for the talk. Sadhu, 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 Bhante.
Thank you, Aliana. Thank you, everyone. Venerable monks and brothers and sisters. So we started our Sutta discussion last Friday. That was our first day, and we got to know many of you. And I hope that we then discuss preliminary things about the Sutta discussion, and then we started discussing about the background story of the Maṅgala Sutta. So that's what we did. And finally, we ended up with some nice questions about the difference between Paritta and Sutta and so on and so forth. I mean, they are pretty interesting questions. Not many people ask such questions, so I really like those questions too. So today, we're going to be starting the Maṅgala Sutta, especially the theory part, actually, the exact Sutta part. So before we start off the discussion, let's pay homage to the Buddha 3 times together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Okay. So I think everybody has the link, right? Some of you may have the printed copy, probably. I'm just looking at it. So today we will be looking at the section starting from verse number. What's the verse number? Verse number? Number folks?
I think it's verse number 2, Bhante.
Verse number 2.
We managed to touch a bit about verse 1.
Okay. So Asevana Chabala, right? So that's the verse that we had to discuss today. Can anybody recite the stanza just to get a sense of how you pronounce the Pali? Anybody dares to recite?
Yeah, Bhante, I want to try it.
Okay, give it a try. See how it goes.
Okay. Asewana chapalanam pandidanam chasewana pujaja pujaniyanam etam Maṅgala mutaman.
Okay, so here is good. Here we have to keep in mind, especially in Pali chanting, there is a sort of a complicated way of pronouncing. Now, one ends in M, the other ones ends in what do you call N. Like when somebody is going to become like a novice monk, it is normal that the senior monks give what do you call triple gem in two ways. Buddhang Saranang Gaccham. So that's the nasal sound that ends in N. That's what actually we always expect everybody to recite or follow. And also, the senior monks want to check whether he or she can pronounce the other way also. Buddham Saranam Gaccham. Now here actually, when you look at it, Asevana Jabala Nam Panditanancha Sevana Puja cha Pujaniya Nam Etam Maṅgala Muttamam. Actually, we normally recite this to be Asevana Jabala Nang Panditanancha Sevana Puja cha Pujaniya Nang Etam Maṅgala Muttamam. So, you know, the difference between N and M sounds actually. So I think it's better you understand that too. Let me read it. Asevanacha balanang panditanang cha sevana puja cha pujaniyanang etang Maṅgala Muttama. So the easiest way to read Pali is to slow down. Some people want to go on a marathon, huh? Then you will pronounce words a little differently. You know, you have to like slow down at the end of most of the, especially if you want to study. Otherwise, you will pronounce differently with the meaning as well. Okay. So let's get into the meanings of the verses. Now we're going to be starting with this. Asevanacha balana. Now, how do we separate out the meaning here? Now, asevanacha means the verb part, right? So sevana, now if you omit a, then it will become sevana. If you keep as it is, it will become asevana. Sevana, asevana. Sevana means association. Asevana means not association. Say who to associate, then who not to associate. Who are these people? Balana. Now here it is said that we should not associate the balas. Be careful. There are people's names going by bala, right? If you can remember, some of the names go by. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, I felt like kind of a connection.
Bhante's been disconnected.
Yeah, something happened on my side. I don't know, maybe my side. Okay, sorry about that. So sevana, asevana. So sevana means association. Asevana means not association. So bala means a kind of people here. Bala. There are some Indian names go by Bala. Right? Have you ever heard this name with somebody's name? Bala? Yeah, Bala. That's not the meaning here, actually. So Bala simply says somebody who is, I would say, who is very young, probably who is not that much mature, right? Here Bala means unwise people. If you want to be a bit tough, you could say fool, but we don't say fool. In Buddhism, we don't say fools and the opposite. We say unwise people. They are not wise enough, right? It's a better term. It's a very civilized word. Now, Bala means unwise people. So, not to associate with unwise people. Now, this is the first blessing in the Maṅgala Sutta. Okay. Now, before we jump into the other parts, let's figure out who is a Bala here. In order for me to give you a correct explanation, now you may have different your own definitions, right? Interpretations. Can I know what do you think by an unwise person? Could anyone share with us about how do you define an unwise person in your own way?
The person that brings harm to himself or others.
I think somebody is.
Aliana.
Okay, give me a second. If you want to answer, please wave your hand, or there is a button here you can do as a reaction. What is that reaction? Clap button, I guess. Yeah, Aliana.
It's the person that brings harm to himself and others.
Okay, that's one way of looking at a Bala. Others, if you don't say anything to me, then I think that you all have wise people with you. Huh? I don't know how far is it correct, but yeah. So okay, Lim Sike, yeah.
Yes, there's somebody that
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. There's somebody that bring dangers to others, and or somebody who has the verbal misconduct and mental misconduct and bodily misconduct.
Okay, that's a bit expansive answer. Yeah, great. Okay, Rinali. Yeah, I think we can hear you. Probably you have to unmute your mic.
One who do not observe 5 precepts and do not know the 8 noble path.
Okay.
8-fold path, sorry.
Okay.
So they do not have.
And somebody. Okay. Okay, great. And somebody, left a message as to what he or she thinks of an unwise person. Not living as righteous ways, causing harmful to oneself and other beings. Yeah. Others? Yeah. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed, because this is a discussion where we all engage, not like I only talk and you only talk. So we had to discuss. And I, present myself as a resource person to this one. What do you think a wise person, an unwise person is? Okay. I think there are no answers at this point. So I'm going to actually say something about an unwise person from the commentaries. Now, it is said that Bala is somebody who is breaking the 10 kusala. That means he or she who is breaking the 10 kusala is a Bala. Now somebody might ask, what are they? Yeah, I'm going to ask you what they are actually. In Pali, it says, don't worry about this Pali statement, but I'm going to say, sort of mention it just to make sure. Tatta bala nama yankinchi panati pata adi akusala kammapata samannagata satta. Someone who is on the path of akusala kammas. Now there are 10 akusala kammas, call them akusalas. That means someone who breaks the 10 kusalas, who practices 10 akusala. Very simple. Now you could say someone who is not practicing Noble Eightfold Path, someone who is not practicing 5 precepts, but this is the precise meaning of what a bala is. Now my question is, what are the 10 kusalas, skillful activities? Because otherwise you won't understand who this person is. What are the 10 kusalas? Only by knowing what they are, you will know what are the opposite of.
Is it start with the 5 precepts? What 5 of them? Breaking the 5 precepts?
Not every thing in the 5 precepts is a part of the akusala. Because the 5 precepts are actually given primarily by somebody else, not by the Buddha. They were in India before the Buddha. Buddha simply approved that. It's because they are very common things, right? If you go to any part of the world, killing is always illegal. Stealing is illegal. Misbehaving is illegal. Lying is illegal. Drinking and driving is illegal, right? But what's the Buddhist flavor into this particular thing? That is 10 kusala. And the opposite is 10 akusala. Can someone tell me what the 10 kusala? Yeah, Aliana.
Right livelihood, Bhante. Right earning.
Not exactly. That is a part of the Eightfold Noble Path.
Right earning.
It's also a part of Samma Ajiva, right? Noble Eightfold Path. Now this is something very common to everyone, because Noble Eightfold Path is something that a particular noble person is going to follow. But before that, we have to be people who follow the 10 kusalas, and after that only we go to the Eightfold Noble Path, the Noble Eightfold. Yeah. So what are the 10 kusalas? Now these are basics in my discussions, very, very basics. If you don't know, you cannot do other things actually, other deeper topics.
I think it's dana, sila, renunciation. I don't remember a few. Is it?
They are the 10. They are part of paramitas, perfections. They are not the 10 kusala. Now you can get a sense of what is happening here now. Now we have to learn the basics of Buddhism. See?
I see.
And then we have to move on to the other things, noble, like higher teachings. Yeah, Doreen?
Respecting the elders.
Bhante, the 10 are the 10 actions are 3 of body and 4 on speech and 3 on
there you go.
mind.
There you go. They are the ones. Yeah. So can you share with us what are for the body, what are for the speech, what are for the mind? Then you will find out. So there are 3 for the body, 4 for the speech, 3 for the mind. Then it makes up the 10, right? Let's start with the body.
The precepts, destroying life, stealing, sexual misconduct.
Let's talk about the positive way now. I like this positive way of looking at it. Like we tell people, hey, don't kill, don't steal, don't misbehave. Say, hey, protect people, protect every being, protect other people's stuff, behave all the time. Okay, so protecting everyone's lives, beings, protecting other people's stuff, and then behaving, that they are for the body. What about the speech?
Speak the truth.
Mhm.
No lying,
Harmonious,
speech.
harmonious speech.
Harmonious speech. What do you mean by that? Probably a
Pleasant
very
speech. Pleasant speech.
Okay. Mhm.
No slandering, no harsh speech, no lying.
Mhm. Yeah. I think I only heard the pleasant speech part. So speaking the truth, pleasant speech, and then
No offensive speech.
okay. Anybody else who wants to help her?
Yeah, Bhante, I want to help. No slandering, gossiping, harsh speech, and no lying.
You found it. I hope it's not Google. Okay, so speaking the truth, united speech, where you unite people, not break people, not divide people. Now, when somebody speaks, they want to divide countries, cultures, like everything, right? So we have to speak all the time to unite everybody's, lives. And then the third is, pleasant speech, that you speak pleasant words all the time. You are not hurt anyone, because this pleasant speech is dependent upon where you live, right? Sometimes things you speak in one country could be different in other cultures, right? And the moment, situation. Finally, speaking in moderation. That's an interesting thing. Speaking in moderation. Mitabhani, we call it mitabhani. It means you are not talking too much. There are people who might think, okay, so we have 15 minutes, let's talk something. You have so many time, all right? It's not like that. So you understand that time is precious. You respect other people's time and your time. So you establish your speech depending on the truth, time, the needs of the situation, but not just wasting time, called non-gossiping, non-idle chatting. So those are the four kusalas for the speech. And what about the mind? The most important ones are the kusalas that happen with the mind.
Right view, right view, right view.
What is it?
Yeah, right view is one. But anybody else wants to add anything? Doreen, I hope that somebody else can help as well.
Please do.
Yeah, because we would like to hear from everybody. Vinita, you want to add anything? Yeah. Do you know what they are? The kusalas from the mind. There are three.
Concentration. Yeah, no problem. So did you manage to open your new account? Did you have concentration? Oh, I see. Because the other day when you sent me the message.
Yeah, is somebody talking here? Yeah. So who is going to share with us what the kusalas that can happen through the mind? There are three. Yeah, two participants raise hands, but yeah.
Can we say concentration? Concentration. Vinita here.
Okay. Yeah, Vinita.
Concentration.
No, not exactly. It's not a part of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Oh, okay.
Now, what happens to many of you is that the knowledge has been kind of complicated, because there are higher teachings and then the lesser teachings. So the knowledge has been complicated. So we have to look at the basics and then slowly navigate, into those places. So these are the three, because we have kind of a time issue here. Not being covetous, that means not being greedy, and then not having ill will, and then right view. So these are the three thoughts that we consider as kusala. Now, what is, we call it anabhijja. Anabhijja means now covetousness. Covetousness means that you have extreme greed, actually. When you have extreme greed, it's a problem. It's an akusala, right? We all have greed, but the problem is if we have too much greed, that's going to be a problem. And then what about the ill will? Ill will means having thoughts to destroy somebody. Like,
Remember, don't you think greed comes from the emotion, not from the mind?
Yeah,
Emotional, right?
well, emotions and everything they are processed through the mind. Because in the Abhidhamma, the higher Dhamma in Theravada, they say there is no one mind. In English, Western cultures, there is only one mind. In Abhidhamma Theravada Buddhism, they say there are many minds. So emotions are, in other words, we call them as sanya. Actually, sanya means the emotions. The thing is, emotions happen because there is something happened to your mind, right? If something happens, or something is happening to your mind. Ill will and what you call the covetousness, they all are things that are considered as responses to a particular external event. Now, the particular external event could be something like a sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, or a thought. And then, but you process them within you as different, akusalas. Now, you could say some akusalas are emotions. Sometimes they are probably sankharas. They could be differently taken, actually. Okay, makes sense? Makes sense, Vinita? Okay, so now here's the thing. Now, Bala is someone, an unwise person is someone who is doing the opposite of these 10 kusala. That means killing, stealing, misbehaving, lying, then dividing people, I would say slandering, then using hurtful speech, and then gossiping or idle chatting, then being excessively greedy, having ill will, and then having wrong will. This is the person who we call as Bala. Now see, even that one line of the stanza takes us to this. This is not actually a complete, exposition, but I think this is, in short, the idea about Bala, okay, an unwise person. Then let's go to the second line, Asevanacha Balanang, then Panditanancha Sevana. Now, if Bala is the unwise person, then who do we call as the wise person here in Pali? We call the wise person here as Pandita. Okay, we call him or her as a Pandita. Now, Bala and Pandit, they are opposites actually. Now, if Bala is someone who is breaking the 10 kusalas, then who can be the Pandita here? Then Pandita should be someone who is protecting the kusala, who is following the kusala. So in Pali, we call him as Tatta Panditanama Yekechi Panatipata Veramani Adi Dasakusala Kammapata Samannagata Satta. Now, the Bala is Dasakusala, Dasa Akusala Kammapata Samannagata. So someone who is following the 10 akusala. But Pandita is someone who is following the 10 kusala. Now, this is a, sort of a very clear teaching, but in some other suttas, like in Majjhima Nikaya, if you can look it up, there is a sutta called Sevitabba Sutta. Let me look that for you. Sevitabba Sutta has another way of identifying an unwise person and a wise person. You can type on internet Sevitabba Sutta, and we can find out the number that is in the Majjhima. Oh yeah, so this is the number. Majjhima Nikaya 114. Majjhima Nikaya 114. That's the number. It's a long sutta, but I wanted to tell you, I mean, what you can learn here. The sutta says an easy way to figure out an unwise person and a wise person. It is said in the sutta, Sevitabba Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya 114, that if somebody is doing an akusala kamma all the time, if somebody is always talking the bad words, if somebody is always thoughtful about the bad thoughts, that is an easy way to spot an unwise person. Now, if you are concerned about whether am I with unwise people, or have I been associating with unwise people, right? So how do I understand whether I'm with wise people or unwise people? So if your friends always do bodily akusalas, that means they are always trying to kill somebody, steal someone's stuff, misbehave. That's a way of spotting. Okay, I am with unwise people. If your friends always lying and then slandering, that means using words to, I would say, break other people apart, or probably talk behind the back, talk something in front of you very well, but go somewhere and then talk something else. So that is called what you call pisunavacha, second, bad speech actually. And if your friend is somebody who is always hurting other people, hurting you with words, if your friend is somebody who's always wasting the time with unnecessary topics, that is another way to understand, okay, this is an unwise. Right? The mind part we don't know, because people show in different ways, right? We have to know that person for some time. Even for the mind part, the Buddha said, if your friend or somebody that you know is always thoughtful about the greedy things, about things that he or she uses to destroy someone's reputation online, or character assassination, or somebody is, always based on the wrong view, it's another way to spot an unwise person. So the opposite is the same. This Sevitabba Sutta Majjhima Nikaya 114 also says that if your friends or whoever you are with always try to protect other people, other beings, protect other people's stuff, behave well, and always speak the truth, and always try to be very direct, very straightforward, and then try to use the speech to unite people, put people together. And then if your friend or somebody is always trying to use good words, or trying to use words wisely, actually, like how we use the water and power, right? We use them very wise, otherwise we are wasting that, right? So words have to be used with wisdom, not just talking, because you can talk. And then if your friend is always trying to practice renunciation, not like greed, trying to let go things that he or she has, or trying to let go the past, you can understand, right, when you talk with them. And then if your friend is somebody who's always trying to protect other people's reputation and all that, not doing hanky-panky stuff behind the scene, and if your friend is somebody who's trying to practice right view, like in the first component of the Eightfold Noble Path, so then understand this is a wise person. Pandita. Okay? Asevanacha balana, not associating that kind of a bala. So bala is an unwise person who is doing 10 akusala. Panditanancha sevana, associating A Pandita. Pandita means somebody who is practicing the 10 kusala. Okay. Pujacha pujaniyana. Pujacha, those who are worthy of veneration, respect. Now there are different people who we think that they should be respected. Is everyone in the society be respected? How do we see that? How do we see this respect? Do you think that everybody eligible for the respect, or how do we look at it from both traditional and contemporary point of views? We all know that we all need respect and dignity, right? We should not like disrespect anybody, especially for the life and the dignity that everybody has. But other than that, now on a spiritual level, now this is on a spiritual level and also on a secular level. So how do we understand respect? Who do we respect? How do we respect? Interesting question, right? Mind-boggling questions, not just chanting the stanza. Now, before you come up with your own answers, let me read the commentary here. Pujaniya nama sabba dosa virahitatta sabba guna samannagatatta. Now the commentary says, now here the people who are respected means those who have no defects, no faults. Definitely should be the arahants or beyond. Buddha bhagavanto tato pacha pacheka buddha arya savaka. These are the noble people who always have the respect that we should carry towards them, right? We have no argument about Arya people, noble people who always, being respected by us. But how do we take this to our normal life? Now there are people who say, yeah, I don't respect you, I don't care, right? So how do we look at this respect thing in our normal society, in our normal life, with this teaching, puja cha pujaniya? Because normally when a monk or a speaker defines this in the Maṅgala Sutta, they say, hey, you have to respect those who should be respected. Now people are wondering, who is that? How do I understand this? There are different people saying that. Politicians say you have to respect us, we run in the country. Professionals say we doing something, you have to respect us, we doing the bigger part of this thing that you never know, right? The scientists might say, we should owe and respect, So how do we understand, practice the respect part here? Puja cha pujaniyana. Pujaniyana means those who should be respected. Then puja means respect. Is anyone there to start here? Yeah. Sorry about that. Before I jump into your answers, somebody, Charity, I didn't see that. Sorry, Bhante, I might have misunderstanding here. Is the kusala here and dasa kusala kamma is different? No, they are same. The kusala and kusala kamma means the fruit of the kusala, the result of the kusala. And akusala is the action, and the akusala kamma means the result of that akusala. So they are pretty same. Yeah, go ahead, Reena.
I think those who practice morality, righteousness, and also have respect for other people, and also a wise person. That I think
we're not talking about a wise. We already done with that actually. We're talking about
that means,
who is someone who should be respected actually.
Morality, and then and he also respect people. If he doesn't respect people, I don't think we can respect him.
So initially, we all have a responsibility actually to respect
ourselves.
That's a normal notion, be that a person from this place, that place. So initially, we all have to respect everyone alike. That's the golden rule, even in Christianity. But now here, on a spiritual note, there are beings and people who we have to specifically understand, to to give the respect. So you said morality, but the problem is we don't know what kind of a morality they do. They say we are moral, but you know, different religions, they say we are moral. Sometimes they say we are more moral than. Then there is a big question coming up. So how come you are more moral than us? We are the Buddha's followers, right? So the morality is a kind of a tricky place, right? But anyways, in Buddhism, morality is something that we take as respect. But how do we practice this in our normal life, like regardless of religions and cultures, right?
I think one has to be neutral without taking sides in whatever things happen. We try to remain neutral.
Upekka, right? This is a very good term in Buddhism, upekka, neutrality. But do people always think to themselves that we should be neutral? Or they go to likes and dislikes? They always want to make a choice.
Because humans are very funny, they tend to take side on the person whom they are closer with. And they will criticize the one which they don't quite like. So if we were to practice middle path, we should speak out the truth, but it's something that will make you very unpopular later on. So I think we just keep our cool and just advise, but don't take sides.
That's a good idea, but we have to refine the idea, you know? Because now when you are with the family, you always take the side of your family, your husband, your wife, and your children, right? No. I mean, not you, not you. I mean, in general, many people take sides of their personal connections, right? So how do we refine this thought? I mean, how to stay neutral, being open-minded to see things as they are. That's a good point to start off, that idea actually, because otherwise it's theory-wise it's correct, but practice-wise it can be a little difficult for all of us, you know. So if we are trying to practice open-mindedness, that means vipassana, insight. In vipassana we say try to practice objectivity, seeing things as they are. But oftentimes what happens is we see things as we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But it's not a big problem because that is how we live here, even now. Right? But then how we can develop this open-mindedness, understanding I have my subjective thinking, that I have my people here, I have my personal circles, then how can I look at the objectivity as well? We're going to develop our subjectivity to a level where we can understand this object, the truth of everything. Then we will understand the truth a little bit more than how we are used to live, you know, with our personal connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Amy?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Because in a way, that means you say you have to be so aware of things, of situations, there's no duality at all. So if we don't see the duality, that means to say there's the end of judgment. We don't judge. That means we see things as it, that's it.
Yeah, great.
I don't know, you leads me to that thought system. So I find it, yeah, as long as we have no judgment, there's no duality. And we accept it as is.
Yeah.
Because
judgments always bring issues, but we may have to decide on different things with wisdom. That's a different part. But we have to lower this, what do you call it, constant judgmental nature. When you see somebody, okay, yeah, this is somebody like that. It's good for a detective, right, to find out the truth. But for us, if we can really give some time to understand things and people situations, we'll be more.
Because it becomes habitual. Because if you're not aware of your own habits, because I find that it's a habits things that sometimes people are not even aware they have that kind of habits. So unless until they have the kind of level of consciousness within themselves, then it sort of free them up with that kind of judgment.
Yeah. On the other hand, how do we say we have good things and we have bad things? These people are good people and these people are bad people, because they have been forming good habits and bad habits over time.
Yes.
Now, for somebody who you think that that through our discussion today, this is an unwise person, if you can take a look, for that person, panatipata, killing, stealing, misbehaving, and all these verbal misconduct and mental misconduct have been a part of his habitual life.
That's right.
So over time, this person has been a bad person.
Yes.
Now, if you want to help that person, then you have to approach the habits.
Yeah, but the thing is that the awareness must be there, because these sort of habitual things can become addictions, you know. So unless and until I find that a lot of things is all about awareness, bringing up back the awareness to them, and that's how not about correcting them, but bring that awareness.
Yeah, that's why we say that we are always on autopilot.
Yeah.
We are on autopilot. Like, we don't know what we do, but we have done it actually.
Yeah.
We don't eat, we get eaten actually sometimes. We don't talk, we get sad. Because the thing is that there are many involuntary actions, speeches and things happening. So yeah, we have to give some awareness, what we call by, sati and sampajanya, we call it, that's a different topic. So I don't want to mix it up here. Mindfulness and awareness. So we'll talk that in another discussion. But now here, I want you to figure out, how do you understand somebody who needs respect from you? Let's figure out that thing first. I know that you are respecting people in your own life, right? Probably there are people who might say, okay, this person helped me, so I have to respect this person. He or she donated me something, gave me something, gave me the promotion, gave me this thing, this politician gave this thing, whatever. So you have your own yardstick, like criteria to practice respect. So I'm asking, what are your own thoughts about respect? How do you know? How do you practice respect?
How about a humble person?
Oh, if there's a humble person, you want to give your respect.
Usually now in this present society, if you are a humble person, people will take you as a doormat.
Yeah, as a weak point.
Yeah,
I will tell you a story for that now. Can you finish? Then I will tell you the story.
Because they will think that you are humble, you just sort of you forgive them for their shortcomings. Then if you got practice, then you can see clearer, you see. But these people without Dharma, they will say, oh, doesn't matter, you can just scold her, trash your temper at her, and then next day she will still be nice to you and she still help you. So sometimes you have to be wise to be humble, to sometimes have to be a bit selective when you want to be humble to certain people.
Actually, it's not a problem of that person. It's a problem of us in not understanding how to help or stay with that person. If you really think that you're supposed to be with that person, right? Like lot of problems happen to us, not from the strangers.
Yeah.
Actually, they happen from the people we know.
Yeah.
Like you say, for example,
like the sexual assault, right? It happens from somebody to people who they know mostly. I tell you the story now. This was a story that you can find somewhere in a post-canonical world. There was don't take some of the animal kind of like figures think to be very truthful, but they are mythological, but take the idea out of it. There was a cobra, and the cobra decided one day, like in some Japanese stories, cobra decided one day that I want to take 5 prisoners. And then he approached a hermit in the jungle. So then he approached the hermit. Remember in one Jataka story, it is said that there were 3 animals who took precepts, and the Buddha Bodhisattva asked, why did you take precept? And there was a bird family, and then they said, we took precept because we had a breakup lately. The birds. That's why we came to take precepts. And there was a snake who took precepts. The reason was that when he was slithering somewhere, he actually stung a very big cow, and then he saw that many people flocking together to respect the cow because this cow is a very sacred cow. Then he was very guilty, so he wanted to take precept. So in that way, this is another story. This cobra didn't have any remorse, any worry, so he simply wanted to give it a try. There's no harm, right? Because there are people who don't even want to try spiritual things. So he approached the hermit and then said, can you give me the 5 precepts? The hermit said, no, it won't work for you because you're getting very angry. You, bite, sting, beings. He said, no, you know what? I'm trying my best not to, sting others. I'm trying to be very good. I'm trying to be a good cobra. That's the better way of understanding this. He said, okay, let's see. And then he gave the precepts. And then what happened? On the day he took precepts, the cobra, he was going somewhere. And then the farmer was trying to, bind some firewood. So he didn't see, this cobra went inside and then he stuck the firewood. He got stuck in the firewood, stuck out the firewood. And then he brought it home. Now the cobra could have, killed the farmer, but he did not. Okay, because he was always thoughtful about the precepts. Once he left the, the stack of the firewood, and he saw there was a snake stuck in. And then he was using a stick to just move it a little bit around. And then he didn't do anything. So he thought maybe a rattlesnake. This might be a rattlesnake. And he was, with so much difficulty, was going somewhere after that, the cobra. And cobra was going near the hermitage. And then he wanted to see actually. And the hermit asked, what's going on? How is your practice of the precepts? He said, you know what? See what happened to me on the very first day after taking the precepts. See, I was so much stuck in a stack of firewood. And I think this is so crazy, this is what happened to me. And what the hermit told the cobra? He told the cobra, the precepts say you don't kill beings. Okay, but you are a cobra. So you need some defense mechanism. So you could have shown that you could have sting, but you don't sting. If you showed that, if you had shown that in the first instance, he would have not put you in the stack of firewood. So that means there are times, there are ways we can protect us, not letting us become the victim of the problem. Now you think that I'm practicing sila, dana sila, bhavana, whatever Buddhist thing, so I can't do anything. No, I mean, you don't want to do anything bad, but you have to show that, I'm like this, you can't do this to me. So you have to create your own defense mechanism in a healthy way. With that story, what we have to learn is that we are not supposed to be victimized for somebody. Except rather than getting victimized, we have to create our safe parameter, safe boundary when we are helping other people, if you really think that you want to help. So that's one way of looking at it. So, okay, let's talk about the respect here. It's pretty much, there are people who we need to respect from the spiritual point of view. Of course, you respect the Sangha, right? Can you tell me who is Sangha? A very good question, but probably you might not answer properly. Who is Sangha? Called Maha Sanghika Dana. Now, people might say, no, Sangha. It's very interesting. Who is Sangha?
Student of Buddha.
Is Sangha only monks? This is what you know, right?
Yep.
Okay. Today you're going to be learning something new. In Buddhism, Sangha means a community of 4 groups. Let me tell you. Bhikkhu Sangha, Bhikkhuni Sangha, Upasaka Sangha, Upasika Sangha. Bhikkhu Sangha means that's the highest monks, the community of monks. That's what they are the ones who you respect. Respect is there. And Bhikkhuni Sangha means nuns. Now they are not the, I of course say the nuns that come from Mahapajapati Gautami, from that ancient time. And then Upasaka Sangha. Who are they? Lay people. They are also called, especially the laymen. The community of Sangha with laymen, male Sangha. Who are those male Sangha? Those who have attained Sotapanna. You could be a lay person, you still a Sangha. Okay. And then Upasika Sangha is the female Sangha. That means lay woman Sangha. That means if you are you may be a lay woman like how you present yourself here, but you may have attained Sotapanna. Never know. You are a Sangha. So now you understand Sangha is not only the monks, but also it is a community of all 4 groups. Now the problem is somebody may question, then if you talk about then Sangha who get ordained under the proper way, still not attain Sotapanna. Who are they then? Actually, we call them those who are going to become Sotapanna. So still they are Sangha, Bhikkhu Sangha. But there may be a lay person, but those of them who are going to become Sotapanna is not taken as Upasaka Upasika Sangha. But if you are a lay person, layman or laywoman, but you have attained Sotapanna, then you are become a Sangha. In Buddhism, Sangha means attainments, those who have attained Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. So that's the beginning. So of course the Sangha is somebody who needs the respect from all of us, and there are other people who has done some services to the society, the whole world, who promoted the peace and everything. And in our normal personal circles, we know those who are very humble, those who are very helpful. Let's say those of them who are practicing the 10 perfections, dana, sila, nekamma, kanti, sacca, dittana, right? Metta, upeka, and all those perfections, right? So they are all respectable people, right? And we have our own personal ways of respecting others too. So find out how you respect others and practice it. When you respect somebody, you also get the respect back, right? So never think that I should be respected without I respect somebody else. Okay, so puja cha pujaniyana means we understand this whole picture of beings, starting from spiritual people and secular people and good people. So we have to respect them on a regular basis, but we should not respect anybody without a proper analysis, right? Because if you do that, they will make you a victim for them, right? If you're going to respect those who are not worthy, then they will make you the victims at the end, as somebody mentioned here. Okay, let's, I think with our time, let's have a discussion about these stanza aspects. Otherwise, if you're going to discuss the other stanza, it will take longer time. So because of the time, and let's take a couple of minutes for the questions and answers. So we'll do the next stanza next Friday. So then we can have more time to discuss it. Now the time for questions. Any questions about this stanza? Asevana cha balana, not associating unwise people. Panditanancha sevana, associating the wise people, puja cha pujaniyana, honoring or respecting those who are worthy of respect or honor. Etang, this is Maṅgala Uttama. Uttama means supreme. Maṅgala means blessing. Now, I wanted to add something to this discussion. Zita, yeah, go ahead. Looks like you have a question here.
Yes, Bhante. So I want to ask about the Sangha thing just now. So Bhante said that there are Upasaka Sangha and Upasaka Sangha.
No, it's the whole 4 communities. It's the
okay.
community of all these 4 people.
Okay. So in my country, the regular devotees can attain the Upasaka Upasika title just doing the Buddhist Visuddhi to take the 8 precepts, and then after the Visuddhi they already get the Upasaka and Upasika title. So if they already get the titles for the Upasaka and Upasika, does it mean they are already a part of the Sangha community? And
No. That Upasika is a normal way of how do we call them? We name them that when you take precepts, you are Upasaka Upasika. But here in the Sangha analysis, Sangha interpretation, it is when they attain Sotapanna, at least Sotapanna, then we call them Upasaka Sangha. Actually, until they attain Sotapanna, we call them just Upasaka. This is a male Upasaka and female Upasika. But when they attain Sotapanna, we call Upasaka Sangha. Then Upasika Sangha. So we add that Sangha part to Upasaka Upasika.
Okay, one more question. Is the Sotapanna is only attained by doing meditation, or is there any other way to attain the Sotapanna?
In order for someone to attain Sotapanna, there are 4 things one must practice. Let me tell you. Parato Gosa. Parato Gosa is the first one. Parato Gosa means listening to the Dhamma. Actually, when you listen to Dhamma, it is more helpful rather than watching the Dhamma. Now, I'm not saying that don't watch these videos on online. But when you listen, it will give you I would say, more weight to what you want to focus. That's why some of the podcasts are getting so much popular. But anyways, we could say listening to Dhamma either on audio or video formats. Then, Kalyana Mittata. Kalyana Mittata means being with the wise people. Now, today we discuss the wise people. We must be with at least 2 wise people. The Buddha says in one sutta. It's in the Samyutta Nikaya. How do we find 2 wise people? The Buddha says you all have 1 wise person already. Who is that? The Buddha. We all have the Buddha. That's why we are learning all that. Then, how about the other one? We have to find out. Don't know whether you already found out. We have to find out. That's a bit tricky. Because the friends who are with us, they may be good friends, but they might not be Kalyana Mittas who can teach us the right path. They are good friends. They may be good friends. So then the second one is having Kalyana Mitta. That means noble friends. Listening to Dhamma. And then second one is noble friends. Third one is Yoniso Manasikara. Wise attention. Now, wise attention is what helps us to be aware of what's going on or to practice mindfulness. Now, even here, even after this thing, even when you spend your time, we all need to be aware of what's going on, at least to some extent. For those folks who kill other people, who steal, who want to do other bad things to others, they don't have proper awareness. They are driven by other external events. Somebody did this thing, so they are not practicing their awareness. So then the third one is wise attention. We call it Yoniso Manasikara. The fourth one is Dhammanudhamma Patpada, the practice. Now, I always reiterate that if you are somebody who only listen to Dhamma, you have no practice at all, you will not achieve anything at all. You must practice more than what you listen from other people, to other people. Because practice is the most important thing, right? For many, because here's the tricky and funny thing. Now, Buddhism is more philosophical, So there are a lot of theory things happening. So people think, let's maintain this as a knowledge. This is the biggest loophole to make. So I'm trying to tell you that the more you practice, the more you make out of all that, even you attain Sotapanna and all that. So there are 4 things you need to practice to attain the minimum level of the Buddha's paths, Sotapanna. That is to attain Sotapanna by practicing listening to Dhamma, Parathogosa, Usadhamma Savana. Second one is Kalyana Mitrata, having noble friends, not just for a day or two, for the long term, right? You may have some noble friends for a day or two, 7 days for retreats, 2 weeks, 1 month, and then they are not with you. You go back to ignoble friends after that. Third one is Yoniso Manasikara, practice wise attention. Fourth one is the practice application. These 4 things will take you to Sotapanna. I would say this is a fast track process. If you practice the 4 together, it's going to fast track you. Otherwise, you will, I would say you will sort of, drag in this sense. You practice this, a little bit of sila, a little bit of bhavana, a little bit of dana. You will never go anywhere. You're like here, you're not practicing well. So these 4 will keep you fast track.
Okay, Bhante, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Bhante, when you mentioned practice, the last one that you mentioned, the 4th one.
Yeah, Dhammanudhamma Patipada.
Does it mean that we have to do our sila, bhavana, or meditation, or go forward with there are lots of groups which are very focused in dana only. There are some groups that are very focused in doing service to people. Is that also considered under practice, or are we looking at the angle of meditation? Which one would the advise us to do?
There is no one practice that we have to take as a standalone practice. Every practice is complementary to something else. But those folks who they feel comfortable, they only do what they think to be okay. Let's say somebody who thinks, okay, I can make a lot of dana. I only want to make dana. That's it. That's the only way for me to do. Well, I mean, although that is the most convenient, comfortable thing that person can do, but it is not a standalone practice. For those folks in the West, they think that, okay, meditation will take me everything. No, meditation is not a standalone practice. The Buddha said, we have to practice everything together. What is everything? On your side, you could take the 10 punya kriya, meritorious action, dana, generosity, sila, morality, bhavana, meditation, dana, sila, and bhavana. Patti means transference of, taking merits, earning merits. You have to create more merits. And then pattanumodana, transference of merits to the departed people or sharing good karmas with the Devanaga. Patipattan. Now there are 5. Dana, Sila, Bhavana, Patti, Pattanumodana. Then Veyyavaccha, that means volunteer activities. Right? You can volunteer in a non-profit organization, probably for people who are, now here Ti-Ratana is doing a lot of non-profit stuff, right? Orphanage and so on and so forth, right? And you can volunteer at a temple and other places, Cancer Society, where you can think about multiple ways, I'm volunteering here too, right? So volunteerism, Veyyavaccha. Apachayana means respect, worship. You do that too. And then Desana Suti. That means giving Dhamma talks. Giving Dhamma talks is not only a responsibility of a monk.
Yeah.
There are a lot of lay speakers in Malaysia, right? In Singapore. You have to talk Dhamma, what you can share, but don't talk things that are not really Dhamma. Some people, they combine modern psychology without knowing Dhamma, right? So you have to first know the Dhamma very well. But whatever the Dhamma you know, share with the right people. Know it well and share with the right people. And then Suti. every Dhamma speaker should listen to other Dhamma speakers also, like I do whenever I get a chance. Because we all are learners, right? Nobody is the highest here. We all are learners. Somebody may know better than the other people, higher than the others. But other than that, in terms of the levels, attainments, we may be all learners. So, teaching Dhamma and then listening to Dhamma. As we said, one of the first requirements of the Sotapanna here, to Sita. And then, Desana Suti, Dittiju, trying to practice the right way. Now, the practice that everybody has to do is tenfold. If somebody only picks on the dana only, then that person will end up with somewhere that will not take that person to the attainment, spiritual attainments. So we have to practice these 10 simultaneously as much as we can. But we should never, this is a very sensitive thing. You don't approach somebody who is only giving dana. You should not only give dana, you have to practice the other 9. There will be a big argument, you know. You should not do that. I mean, we have to have a friendly conversation if things are okay, right? Because people have been used to these things as a culture, you know. I go to temple with some food to offer monks, and that's it. You guys don't do dana, you only meditate, you don't do Dhamma talks only, you know. There's a big chaos going on. So we have to approach everybody friendly, but we should practice dana, sila, bhavana, patti, patthana, modana, viyavacha, apachaya, desana, sati, dittiju, all together as much as we can. Then only we will advance, fast track our process.
Bhante, Amy here.
Yeah.
Just use the word spiritual attainment. Yeah. So how do you relate to what's a spirituality versus being religious?
Okay. To answer that question, we have to look at the contemporary context. Now, in the world at this point, people rather dislike in identifying them to be religious everywhere in the world. Even if you go to Japan, in the West, everywhere, people don't like to think that they are religious. They don't want to say that we are religious, but they like to be spiritual. But most of them getting now atheists in some countries. They don't like any of these religious stuff. So I would say being religious is a kind of a very hardcore way of practicing the things. And being spiritual means something that you are not trying to take the teachings too rigid. Especially now, if you take Buddhism, those folks who want to say that we are religiously Buddhist, they have more cultures ingrained in that. But for those folks who wanted to take it as a spiritual thing, spirituality is common to all of us. So the trend is to be more spiritual than more religious. Plus, the word religion comes from a Western perspective. So in my understanding, Buddha's teachings is neither a philosophy or a religion, a very strict spirituality. It is a way of life. So there is no buzzword for that. There's no identified word for that. But when you talk about it, you can't talk it without labeling it into a certain spiritual context. That's where people say, okay, it's a religion, it's a spirituality. Now people say, Buddhist psychology, Buddhist environmentalism, Buddhist logics. I mean, Buddha never knew these words. Is there logic in Buddhism, right? Buddha said logic can be okay sometimes, sometimes not. The best lawyer will get everything, just because of the words. And and some people talk about Buddhist medicine too. I don't know, Buddhist music. So, it is not into any of these things, but you can find out there is some music parts, some environmental teaching, some psychological teachings. I mean, those kind of stuff. So Buddha's teachings, you can say even it's Buddhism. It's a way of life. Especially Buddha only taught us teachings to attain the Nibbana, to end this samsaric cycle. That was the only purpose that we know. But in order for us to understand, to go to that level, we cannot simply go there. So we have to have a practice. As I said to you, the 10-fold practice with the Noble Eightfold Path. That's why we have to practice them simultaneously. So to me, if you want to introduce Buddha's teachings to the modern context people, it is better to present this as a spiritual kind of a teaching, because we cannot avoid even the spiritual term spirituality, because then people will be more comfortable to learn something out of it.
Can we say that spirituality is here to encompass all religions? They are all a binding factors for all religion coming together, encompassing all as one. So,
You mean,
yeah, spirituality as a word itself, because you may be all different faiths, but we're all walking the spiritual path.
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, Amy, here's the thing. Now we are, our focus here is to study Sutta. So we have to narrow down us, especially towards Buddha's teaching specifically. So we're going to study that. But to this question, what I can say is that now you are asking the trend, what's going on in the world now. I think in the next couple of decades, people look for a cosmic spiritual philosophy. They don't like to be identified with XYZ religions and spiritual things, because a lot of problems have occurred because of the religious reasons in the world.
Yes.
Sometimes more harm has happened, in regard to the purpose of what they mean to be. So rather telling that religion is bad, I'm trying to say that a lot of people trying to be either atheists or they wanted to look for something that everybody can follow, like a cosmic spiritual kind of teaching. So that's a trend, But here we study about one particular teacher that we follow, the Buddhist teaching. So we have to narrow down us to particularly learn the depth of these teachings. Yeah.
So today's sutta, you were talking about not to associate with the fool. Yeah. And,
we call it actually not to associate with the unwise people, friends or whoever, and associate with the wise friends, wise people, and then respect those of them who should be respected. This is one stanza from the Maṅgala Sutta. Maṅgala Sutta has 35 more blessings. So we today only covered 3 blessings. See how far we went today.
Talking about unwise, maybe at the very beginning, I have judged him to be unwise. But as he goes along in life journey, he could have transformed himself to be wise. So being unwise and being wise is not all permanent in that sense.
Yeah, wisdom and unwisdom. So become wise or become unwise depends on whether you are practicing 10 kusala or 10 akusala. That's the Buddhist way of finding out whether we have wisdom or not, whether other people have wisdom or not. So Buddha says, if you think that you are unwise, you are a bala, but the moment you want to think that you want to become a pandita will make you a wise person. That's a Dhammapada verse. Yo pandito, yo balo, it's a nice verse. I can't remember exactly. Probably I might remember. Yo balo manyati balyang pandito apite. So if a bala, unwise person, thinks that I want to switch to become a wise person, that even within that particular moment, that bala will become a wise person. It's pretty simple. But the opposite also can happen, It works on both sides, right?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can go to transference of merits.
Bhante.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Bhante, I ever read in a Buddhist book about respecting our parents, like because our parents is like a Buddha at home. Why is our parents is called Buddha at home? I know we have to respect them, but why is this called Buddha at home? Thank you, Bhante.
It is not said that the parents are the Buddhas, because parents Parents are parents. If parents are the Buddhas, then why do we respect somebody as the Buddha, right? Simple logic is that. But parents should get the respect from us for what they have done to us, because the first thing the Buddha taught us is the gratitude. The second week that he followed was that he was respecting the Bodhi tree. So Buddha is somebody else, and parents, we have the respect towards parents are different from the Buddha. So I think it is mistakenly interpreted by many, saying that you have a Buddha at home. It is said in suttas, parents are not the Buddhas, but parents should get your respect like you respect the Buddha.
So that means the book is just writing it wrong, or just is a saying like that?
Pardon me?
So that means that the book is writing it wrong, or saying interpreting our parents like a Buddha, but it's not like that in Sutta. Is that right?
Actually, what it says is, now when some people are trying to write books about the gratitude, especially from children towards parents, they have sometimes exaggerated in different ways to take it to the Buddha. So, but if you are someone who is respecting the Buddha but not your parents at home, that is a big problem, right?
Yes.
You go to the temple, you respect and you give dana, but at home you have your hopeless parents. You don't take care of them, you don't give them the food and everything. That's a bit of shameful practice, right? So that's why there are suttas where it says you must take care of your parents, right? At home. It is something that you practice even in Buddhism. But the practice of respecting the Buddha is another practice. That's the whole practice. So they have to be understood differently. Other than that, it is not said that the parents are the Buddhas. Then what about an alcoholic parent? Huh? You think he's a Buddha also? I mean, that shouldn't happen, you know. It can happen, right? There are so many parents in this world, huh? Good people, good parents and bad parents. Parenting doesn't mean that you give a child to this world. There is parenting should happen, giving the right things to their children, right? So then we cannot say parents are the Buddhas. But when you want to practice Buddhism, you must take care of your parents at home before you go to the temple and respect the monks and the Buddha. That's a very logical idea, right? But there are people who don't take care of their parents at home very much. I mean, to the level that they should be, supposed to be. They go to the temple, they take care of the monks and the temple very much. That's a shameful practice. So if we understand that, so there's the answer.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, in my place, normally we refer parents as Brahma at home. They are our Brahmas in our house. We don't consider them as Buddha.
That's what the suttas say. I was going to say that. The Buddha said, Brahmati Mata Pitaru. Why the Buddha said Brahma is mother and father? Now, depending on the time, I will give a short answer and get into the transference of merits. Now, in India, at the time the Buddha was talking this thing, was Hinduism is what we understand was the prevalent religion. In Hinduism, they have this Brahma, Mahabrahma. The Hindu people still believe, even now believe, that everything is a creation of the Mahabrahma. Now they also call that Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The one who creates the world is Brahma. The one who keeps the world is Vishnu. The one who is destroying the world is Shiva, Ishvara. That's the whole idea. Now the Buddha said nobody was created by the Mahabrahma. Everybody was created by two people, mother and father. It's like the yin-yang concept. I don't know, it's a Chinese one. Or the Prakriti Purusha concept in Sankhya philosophy. Or what do you call proton and neutron in science. the minus and the plus points of a battery, where you see the connection between, right? Compassion and wisdom in Mahayana philosophy, right? Where they, say Mahaprajna, Mahakaruna, great compassion and great wisdom. So the proper word that the Buddha called the parents to be the Brahmas, because he called the parents to be Brahma because they are the ones who created other folks, other beings. So it's better to say parents are Brahmas rather than the Buddhas. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so let's then wind up for today's discussion. I know that there are a lot of questions if I just wait. So let's wrap up for today, and then we'll keep the questions probably for next Friday. Okay, so let's reflect upon all the good karmas that we've been doing today. So first, let's reflect upon good karmas, how we been creating from the beginning of today. We all actually paid homage to the Buddha, and then we all discuss about one particular stanza which has 3 Maṅgala factors, auspicious things, not associating balas, associating panditas, and then respecting those who are worthy of respect. This is what we've been discussing. We had a very wonderful Q&A as well. So let's now then give all these good karmas to departed people. Now we always have a sponsor. Today's discussion also sponsored by Brother Theo Hang Chong and family. And Brother Theo Hang Chong family wishes to give good karmas which we've been accumulating today to 2 individuals, Theo Cheng Hung and Ting Teng Huai. So these 2 people are worthy of mention for today's transfers of merits. Not only Theo Cheng Hung and Ting Teng Huai, may all the friends and families and other people who passed away in the name of all of us in this life and in past lives be able to receive all these good karmas. If they are, or they were actually reborn in a bad realm, may they be able to receive all these good karmas and then to be reborn in a better place. If they are already in a better place, may they be able to improve their life standards to a level where they can practice the Dhamma. If they are in a better place and practicing and improving their standards, may they be able to help and receive all these good karmas to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's recite the stanzas. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Let's share all these good karmas with the Devas, Nagas, and Mahivikas. May all the good karmas be shared by Devas, Nagas, and Mahivikas, and may they specifically, particularly bless the following individuals from the sponsor family: Theo Hang Chong, Wong Wai Kwan, Theo Jun Seong, Theo Jun Meng, Theo Jun Leng, and all the other family members in their family, and also everybody who participated in today's Sutta discussion, and also our Venerable Monk and the Chief Reverend and everybody there who are organizing all these things. May all they be protected and blessed by the Devas, Nagas, and Mahivikas. May they bless all of you, especially the sponsor family and all these beings, for good health, quality of their life, and all the prosperity. May the Devas, Nagas, and Mahivikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let's say sadhu 3 times and recite the stanzas. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasanam Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanam Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti. Finally, may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating so far be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa nichang vadha pachayino chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhan balan ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti Iminati Saminchatu. May your sufferings go away by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. May your sufferings go away. May your sicknesses go away. May all your fears go away. May the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha be always with you. May you be safe. May you be comfortable, and may you attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bhante, for the talk. Hope that everyone has a wonderful Sutta discussion. And hope that to see you again in the next Sutta discussion next week, every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Malaysian time. Thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant night. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Hello, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you so much. Welcome to TRV Aman Perdana Klang virtually. We are indeed very fortunate to have Bhante to be with us this morning, Canadian time, for the second session of the Sutta discussion. Thank you so much, Bhante. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, Bhante. Good night. Good night.